Hi, everybody. Very happy to be with you and talk about music and guitar. I've been playing in concert for almost 45 years in different countries around the world and also in Belgium. The Brussels International Guitar Festival, just say the big, was kind enough to invite me for this very special online edition. So thank you so much. Throughout my career, I have, of course, played all the classical repertoire that you know very well as a soloist or in chamber music or with orchestra, but I have also been very interested in other styles of music. From the age of 25, I teamed up with my friend, the jazz pianist Claude Bolling. Then I explored with passion the world of Argentinian tango and world music. So, Ireland, Balkans, South American, and so on. A question that I get asked quite often from the musicians I work with is the following. How do you manage to maintain several programs at the same time, so different in styles? It's true that currently I play solo, I play tango in a bandoneon and guitar duet. I play world music in a trio with two of my children, flute, guitar and drums. I play Italian music in a trio with mandolin, guitar and double bass. I also have a trio with two guitars and cello. And also I prepare a concert trumpet and guitar in a jazz and classical way, and also a quintet with a jazzy tendency, flute, guitar, piano, bass, and drums. And I stay curious. Every time I go to a country, I look for music that I could like and that I could play with my guitar. The question is how to manage to carry out all those projects. Of course, you have to spend time when you are professional. You devote a large part of the time to practice and research, but the days are only 24 hours. So here is how I process. First of all, I play every day in very different styles that can go from Scarlatti to Bossa Nova, through Aguado, jazzy pieces and world music pieces. The first project consists of working on the pulsations specific to each style approached. For example, if you play Scarlatti, you have a way of controlling the pulsation specific to baroque music. It's light, it's precise, there is no rubato, the beats are not too strong but well recognizable. The end of the phrasings are light but without too much rallentando. It's also necessary to link the work to its original context. That is to say that it's composed for the keyboard. It therefore a very recognizable music, and I train myself to keep this system of pulsation. Then I will do the same with some romantic music. For example, the rondo, one of the rondo by Aguado. Here, it's therefore an extremely different pulsation that should be mastered so that we can immediately recognize that it's romantic music. And this is the case for all musical eras. If you take the Andrés Segovia's repertoire that I particularly like, you will have a pulse that will also be quite recognizable. This is yet another way of dealing with the beat. This mastery of styles is part of my daily work. Then I take a music a little bit more jazzy, where the pulse is completely reversed, and we have accent on beat 2 and 4. And we can continue with another rhythmic universe with the bossa nova. If we play music from the Balkans, we have to manage 5, 7, 9 or 11 beats. This kind of music takes a lot of concentration at the beginning. Well, all this for me constitutes my basis of practice. It's essential if you want to go, as I do, from one musical universe to another one. Of course, this doesn't exclude practicing on the harmonic system and work on the phrasing and the way to drive the melody. Regarding now how to apply harmony, I can offer you a series of exercises which are not mine, but which were largely developed by a jazz guitarist whose name is Pierre Culez. You'll find his methods in any good music library. What I'm going to show you is something that you can work on a fairly regular basis. This is a chord reversal system. We are going to take examples in C and up to you to transpose them in all tones. This will allow you to know your keyboard and also you know in what key you play in the music. The third part of the work will focus on the melody. Speaking about melodies, the great danger for the guitar player is to separate hearing from instrumental technique. You can have very beautiful musical ideas that can be completely destroyed by inappropriate playing. For example, we can take the first prelude from Hector Villalobos. When we move from a place to another one, we are tempted to breathe during the movement, like that. It's a normal reaction because it allows you to relax, but in return, the phrasing doesn't mean anything at all. So the problem is there. We are in a physical universe which works very well, but we move away from the musical system because we forgot to associate our ears to control the sound result. I therefore urge you to be extremely vigilant with regard to this defect. Remember that your physical attitudes will affect your way of playing, sometimes without your knowledge. We have to try to keep the melody as intact as possible, and that's a big problem with our instrument. I have always been very interested in the way our great masters treat the melody. Take the example of the great Andres Segovia, who knew how to make his guitar sing in an incredible way. I remember having worked on Sevilla, for example, by Isaac Albeniz, finding a very compact fingering for the melody in the slow part. Something like that. And while listening to Andres Segovia, I noticed that he had rather this kind of system there. It is very interesting because he made the phrases sing on a single string, like if he used a single vocal string. Of course, this requires a perfect mastery of moving the left hand on the neck. But this well done movement means that the dynamic will naturally go to the end of the melody. For me, it was very instructive. I told myself, I must find each time a movement that allows me not to disrupt the melody. Take, for example, the beginning of Rondo d'Aguado that I played just now. For example, just this part of the melody. If you are not attentive, you can play easily. I exaggerate a little bit, but your ears need to be very attentive when changing position. You must control that the last note before the change go to the end of its value. Otherwise, the melody is cut. If the notes are cut, it's very difficult to maintain a melody and a musical emotion. So, the movement must go with the melody. So, when I wanted to become a professional musician, I realized that my left hand technique will not allow me to do everything I wanted, simply because I got tired very quickly. So, I came to completely reconsider the technique of my left hand. I propose to you a simple little exercise. For this exercise, you play one note and you take off the thumb and you have to listen. There is no sound alteration. In fact, you are using the weight of your forearm to keep the finger on the string. The string must not be deformed by the weight of your forearm, so it must be adapted. You have to manage this. The first result is that the sound will be deeper and full of harmonics. The second result is purely mechanical. You will have the possibility to spread your finger since your hand will no longer be tense. For the right hand, it's a little bit the same. You have the weight of the forearm, which will be reflected on the tip of the finger, which touches the string. You will gain in power and in projections, whether it is in stroke or free stroke. So make these two exercises in a concrete way. You can have fun playing the first study of the third book of Emilio Pujol. The goal is to keep systematically the same position of the finger in relation to the string. Not like that, always this. For that, you have to take off the thumb each time you are going to the next string, like that. I exaggerate a little. To end this little masterclass, well, I would like to talk a little bit about the tremolo, which poses a lot of questions to my students. So I will explain my way of proceeding to work on this technical particularity specific. The principle is that you have a string that you are going to vibrate, producing a continuous sound, which means that you will not have to stop on the string to prepare the finger. You will have to sweep the string with the concerned fingers. On the string without sound hole. For practicing, you can first balance the tremolo by working only with the two fingers, thumb and middle finger. Always sweeping. Then you add the ring finger, rhythmically leaving place for the index finger. Then, on the contrary, add the index, leaving the place for the ring finger. Then you take the whole tremolo and you practice with this rhythm. And finally, play tremolo used by flamenco players. Is very important because it breaks the natural system who consists to play tremolo like that. So you have to think about each finger who is played. And here to take the opportunity to work on the movements of your left hand. Before each changing, be careful with the last note before the changing. This one. Well, I wish you a lot of determination and overall a lot of fun. I was delighted to share these musical considerations with you, and I wish you the best in the pursuit of your musical learning and a lot of happiness with your guitar. And don't forget, long live the big